Have you ever wondered what the differences are between the Czech and German education systems? Hey there, what is up? This is another video on education. It's kind of a follow-up to the previous video I did about high school education and education in general, as well as the video on why I no longer pursue a degree. And in this video, I'm gonna try to talk about the positive things and positive aspects, as well as a comparison between what I experienced in the Czech education system compared to some German-speaking countries in Germany and Liechtenstein. In both of those countries, I had some insight into high school education, although short-term. And in Germany, I also had one semester literally at a university. And so, although these things may be specific to the places I was in and to like specific teachers, I believe I picked up on some global differences that, if I share, could really help to progress things, especially in the Czech Republic, because I feel like especially our system needs some changes. So let's dive right into that. Is it nowadays still worth the effort trying to go study abroad, provided that most European universities offer free tuition for European citizens? Okay, I'll split this so that it's structured into pretty much three parts. The first two are concerning the high school education. So one is German gymnasium and the other is a gymnasium in Liechtenstein, which I both had the chance to visit during my high school studies in the Czech Republic. And the last but not least, the third part is going to be a bit more thorough, a bit more deep, and I'm going to go into the university education at Bauhaus University Weimar, and also one of the projects that I participated in. The first one is a gymnasium, so a specific type of a school in Germany, near Frankfurt, in one of the smaller cities there. And to be honest, this was 2017, so that's a long time ago. And we've been there for like a week, visited a couple of classes during that time. What I remember is that overall the tuition seemed to be of a high quality. We definitely went to like physics classes, English classes, etc. And so what is maybe most significant from all of this is that I remember in German education, they pay a lot of attention to like privacy when it comes to sharing the exam results and grades. And so if I remember this correctly, students were actually privately told the results outside of the class, which is something that doesn't really happen in the Czech environment. Like everyone pretty much knew who got which grades. And at the time, I did not really, I might not have understood why, but now I see it as paying a lot of respect to their privacy, which is a nice touch actually. And the good thing is that the students actually, if they feel like, they get the chance to share their results, pretty much anytime after school. If they don't, they are protected this way. Also, the focus seemed to be on creativity a little bit more than here in Czechia, as well as teamwork. That is a huge topic. I'm gonna dive into that later. And the last thing I remember from this trip, and now this very much comes to what financing is available, and I get that. However, it was all encompassed in a pretty new building, definitely built after 2000, probably after 2010. So there was good climate. It was all modern, nice environment, had like shading system, etc. So, the environment plays a vital role in learning and in performance as well. So that was a nice touch. And one very German specific thing is that everyone rode bikes, of course. And now this comes to the fact that in that area and even other areas in Germany, it's mostly flat, right? So the potential for riding a bike there is really high, and everyone does that. So if I compare, and that is funny, my high school in Czechia had a bike rack, and there were like maybe 5 spots for a bike. And a lot of the times, like during winters, I actually communicated it so that I could hide my bike in the garage so that it wouldn't be cold, right? But in Germany, it's a completely different story. Pretty much everyone rides a bike there, and so there are like dozens, if not hundreds, of bike racks available in front of the school. And you know, it's a great thing if and again, this is based on culture and the environment. However, it's also a lot about the mindset that people have there, and using bike transport in cities is a very helpful tool for reducing the amount of traffic, and it's healthy as well. Let's move on to Liechtenstein. So the stay was maybe 7 or 10 days long, so also kind of a short term. But having visited lessons in Liechtenstein, what I remember most is that it all seemed slower paced. It all seemed that the tuition was not so much about sharing as much data possible within the time frame. It was more about an interactive debate between the tutor and the students. And so, to give an example, there was a geography lesson that the whole lesson focused on describing how rivers flow and meander in different environments. And the whole lesson was just on that. And the students had literally time and space to counter the information they were given, to ask questions, and to develop ideas within the debate. And talking about the premises in Liechtenstein, it was one of the nicest schools in terms of the public education system I have seen. So it several buildings across the premises, very modern and very nice architecture, nice environments, both inside and outside. And so outside there were gardens, and if I'm correct, there were also some like small lakes, etc. So wonderful environment, provided that Liechtenstein is very near the Alps. It's nice to see that they're connected to nature. And also the school canteen there, from my comparison, one of the highest quality school canteens. Canteen quality was almost restaurant-like. Moving on to the third most thorough, deep part, and part that is also most fresh in my memory still, and that is German university. And so what I'm gonna be talking about is Bauhaus Universität Weimar in East Germany. At this university, I spent 1 semester, and I did choose courses from across 2 study courses, and both bachelor and masters. And so the bachelor study course was called Umweltingenieurwissenschaften, meaning environmental engineering or environmental sciences. And so it was slightly different from the environmentally efficient buildings I studied at home. However, it gave me a much broader perspective on energetics, etc. And so the other courses were from the study program of digital engineering, namely building information modeling. That was, I believe, a master's course, and as well as one course that I'm gonna talk about specifically called Klima, Gesellschaft, Energie, so climate, society, energy. That was taught under the Umweltingenieurwissenschaften as a master's course. Let's start with the project approach. So both in Czechia and in Germany, those study courses were pretty project based. Yeah. So one difference that I'm gonna call out is that it was much more about creativity and actually like solving problems in a creative, in a open way in Germany than it was in Czechia. My experience was that in most courses at the Czech university, we were pretty much made to make the projects look to what the lecturer wanted it to. And if there were any creative attempts, they were pretty much hammered down. And the students were told like, no, this has to be done this because it had been done like this in the past, and so like little to no room for creativity. And in the German university, it was all around. Like there were some let's say boundaries within the projects that we were supposed to fulfill and some goals. However, we were pretty much left open to the ways how we approach the projects and even what the solutions look like based on that, or provided that we find supporting arguments or solutions that support our ideas. Overall, I could say much more open-mindedness and free approach to things like that, which is what the world actually needs. We don't need to repeat what had been done previously. We need to learn the basic principles, but we actually need to develop completely new ideas that transform things and that progress, right? Next thing, teamwork orientation. I will be very close to truth if I say that there might have been like 2 in Czechia that encouraged teamwork. But other than that, it was solo work all the time. Completely different story in Germany. Every course that I took part in encouraged teamwork. It was necessary to work in teams, and that develops the skills and abilities you need for real life. You need to know how to communicate. You need to know how to coordinate with a team. And so I found this very crucial. It raises a lot of challenges, and to be honest, it is for most people more difficult than to work alone. However, as I said, it's an essential skill. Next thing is the grading, and it's something that I'm kind of against. However, I see some light in what was done in the German system, and what it looked like is that the final mark was actually a product of not only the exam, but mostly the project, its presentation, and maybe some other tasks within the course. That's up to the professor teaching it. And so what it looked in reality was that in one of the courses, the project was half of the mark and another half was the final exam. And in one of the master's courses, it was 75 project, 25 final exam. And so this actually leaves much more room for the students to focus on the projects during the semester, which are important. And we all know that exam performance is based on a lot of things different than actually the preparation that went into that. So in case some students had a bad day, they outweighed all of that by their semester work. That makes a lot of sense to me. One other thing I have to give credit for is actually the transparency and organization of the lesson plans. So at the beginning of the semester, we got a clear list showing what topics are going to be covered each and every week, so that we had a plan, as well as at the beginning of the semester, we already pretty much knew approximate dates for the exam, project presentations, etc. And for someone who likes to think forward and who likes to organize his time, this is a must. So the topics were coherent with the project. So each week we covered some things, some principles, ideas that we could actually apply right away to our project creation. And in terms of the project support, in every single one of the courses, we had weekly consultations, and we also had some email support from the tutors. as well as very solid foundation in terms of like written material that we were handed. Now I'm going to concentrate once more on the master's course and the project that we were given. And why? It's because I believe that tuition like this makes a lot of sense, because it doesn't only encourage the students to actually create something and work in a team, but it's actually what society needs to do, both in terms of the aim of the course, and I'm going to come to that, but both in terms of how it was delivered. So, to shorten it, the project was pretty much designing an island. The given task was, there's a given island in a climate zone. There will be a ship coming to that island each and every year with materials and resources. Also, you've got a set budget that you have to stick with, and the objective is therefore to build a self-sustaining society, and that is not only in terms of energy efficiency, but also types of dwelling, the social hierarchy, etc., and agriculture. It all began with analyzing the climate zone. We were giving some climate data in CSV form. We were supposed to analyze it, and from that start coming up with ideas on what the dwellings should look like, what the energy systems should look like, what types of plants we wanted to grow, and how the agriculture was supposed to be sustainable, coming up with layouts, specific materials, budgeting. That was all a part of it, as well as writing an essay that encompassed all the data. As a part of the essay, we also wrote about how and what types of people and skills we needed for the society to actually survive and thrive. So that was very interesting to have a project that looks at pretty much what modern society needs to look at from different perspectives. And it wasn't only engineering, but it was also kind of into like social sciences. As I said, each and every week in the lecture, we got data that was actually relevant for our project. So we were taught how to plan renewable energy systems, how to, there was some info on agriculture, on society, the hunter and gatherer society, etc. So that was very interesting. And I got to look at problems from completely different perspectives than I had been used to. In conclusion, it's very hard to actually compare those two because they seem like completely different worlds in terms of what is being taught and how. What I will say, I don't even know whether it was more demanding in the German system. It was definitely a lot of work, and for the local students, they probably needed some more prerequisites from the courses in bachelor. However, the actual work was very interesting and I found it useful, so that in the end it might be actually easier to study these things. The next thing is the courses and study programs themselves. So in Germany, they tend to be much more renewed and actually up to date. So coming up with new courses and new study courses is much more frequent there than in Czechia, and the actual courses seem to cover innovative things. Now I wonder, have you had any experience with any of the German-speaking countries or with any other European country and their education systems? What do you think of the current state of education, and do you see that the Czech system needs some changes? Let me know in the comments. I very much value your feedback. See you and next time.